Hello everybody, welcome to the Managerial Economics class. This is Srinivasu Dalibarti, Assistant Professor, Department of Management Studies, VSM College Autonomous, Ramchandrapuram. The Managerial Economics Unit 5, Macroeconomics Analysis. Today we are discussing about theory of income and employment. Theory of income and employment, classical and modern approaches. So what is theory of income and employment? So classical approach, classical theory of income and employment, the entire economic premise of the classical economics was based on the assumption of full employment of labor and other economic resources. They were of the opinion that the economy operates in the stable equilibrium situation in the long run, and deviation thereto was regarded as abnormal. The entire economics premise of the classical economics was based on the assumption of full employment of labor and other economic resources. They were of the option that economy operates in stable equilibrium situation in the long run, and any deviation thereto was regarded as abnormal. The classical economist believed in the existence of full employment in the economy. The classical economists believed in the existence of full employment in the economy. To them, full employment was a normal situation, and any deviation from this regarded as something abnormal. And according to Piju, the tendency of the economic system is to automatically provide full employment in the labor market when the demand and supply of labor are equal. What the classical economists believed, the existence of full employment in the economy. To them, full employment was a normal situation, and any deviation from this regarded as something abnormal. The tendency of the economic system is to automatically provide full employment in the labor market when the demand and supply of labor are equal. And unemployment results from the wage structure and interference in the working of free market system in the form of trade union legislation, minimum wage legislation. Full employment exists when everybody who the running rate of wages wishes to be employed. Employment results from the wages structure and interference in the working free market system in the form of trade union legislation, minimum wage legislation. Full employment exists when everybody who at the running rate of the wages wishes to be employed. Along with that, they also made of assumption a perfect competition free capitalist economy and optimize use of resources in the long run. Here, full employment does not mean the total absence of the employment, but there can be fractional unemployment of temporary nature or seasonal unemployment. What is seasonal unemployment? Those who are not prepared to work existent wages rate are not employed because they are voluntarily unemployed. Thus, full employment is situation where there is no possibility or involuntary unemployment, in the sense the people are prepared to work the current wage rate, but they do not find work. The basis of the classical theory says law of market which was the carried forward classical economists like Marshall and Bigelow. The explained determination of output and employment divided into individual market for labors, goods and money. Each market involves a built-in equilibrium mechanism to ensure full employment in the economy. What is classical theory says? Law of market, which was carried forward by classical economists like Marshall and Bigelow. The explained determination of output and employment divided into the individual market for labor, goods and money. Each market involves a built-in equilibrium mechanism to ensure full employment in the economy. Assumption of the classical theory of income and employment. What are the assumption? What is the assumption of classical theory, income and employment? Its assumption, the classical theory output and employment is based on the assumptions: perfect combination, wage price flexibility, homogeneous labor, and constant stock of capital and technology, and laissez-faire economy. All the units produced are sold in the market. All the units produced and sold in the market. Perfect competition, wages, price flexibility, homogeneous labor, constant stock of capital and technology, laissez-faire economy. All the units produced are sold in the market. There is an existence of full employment without inflation. There is a laissez-faire capitalist economy without government interference. And it is closed economy without foreign trade. And there is a perfect competition in labor and product markets. And also labor is homogeneous. Total output of economy is divided between consumption and investment expenditures. Total output of economy is divided between consumption and investment expenditures. And also the quantity of money is given. The quantity of money is given, and money is only the medium of exchange. The quantity of money is given and money is only the medium of exchange. Now, wages and prices are perfectly flexible. Wages and prices are perfectly flexible, and there is no perfect information on part of all market participants. There is perfect information on the part of all market participation. And then money, wages and real wages are directly related and proportional. Money, wages and real wages are directly related and proportional. And then saving are automatically invested, and equality between the two brought out about the rate of interest. Capital stock and technical knowledge are given. The law of diminishing return operates in production, and it assumes the long run. So assumption of classical theory, income and employment: perfect competition, wages for price flexibility, homogeneous labor, and constant stock of the capital and technology, laissez-faire economy, and all the units of products are sold in the market. Now, the theory of effective demand. The theory of effective demand. The principal effective demand lies at the heart of Keynes' general theory of employment. Keynes' general theory of employment. The dictum of the theory in the volume of employment depends on the level of effective demand in the economy. The dictum of the theory is the volume of the employment depends on the level of effective demand the economy. Unemployment is due to deficiency of effective demand. Yeah, unemployment is due to deficiency of ineffective effective demand. Now, broadly speaking, Keynes designated the term effective demand to denote the total demand of goods and services, consumption and investment by the community. Consumption and investment by the community. Here we can say that the effective demand is flow of expenditure. The effective demand is flow of expenditure, and as the expenditure of one becomes source of income for all others, it means the consumption expenditure and the investment expenditure by the community express and total demand for goods and services. It means the consumption of expenditure and the investment expenditure by the community express the total demand for goods and services. So, what is effective demand? Effective demand refers to the willingness and ability of consumer purchase goods and different prices. Effective demand refers to the willingness and ability to consumer to purchase goods and at different prices. It shows the amount of goods that consumer are actually buying, supported by their ability to pay. And effective demand excludes latent demand, where the willingness to purchase goods may be limited by the inability to afford it or lack of knowledge. In Keynes macroeconomic theory, effective demand is the point of equilibrium. The aggregate demand equals to aggregate supply. The importance is Keynes view that effective demand may be insufficient to achieve full employment due to unemployment and workers without income to produce unsold goods. So, according to Keynes, as income increases, consumption expenditure also increase. As income increases, consumption expenditure also increases, but after a certain point, it doesn't not increases in the same proportion is increase in income. It means expenditure increases along with the level of income, but the diminishing rate. Here, there is a gap between income and expenditure, with maybe bridged by the investments expenditure. If investment expenditure does not increases to this extent, the total expenditure in the economy will be less and effective demand will be low, leading employment the economy. So, Keynes, as income increases, consumption expenditure also increases, but after a certain point, it does not increases in the same proportion as increases in income. And there is a gap between income and expenditure, which may be bridged by the investment and expenditures. If investment expenditure doesn't increases to this extent, the total expenditures in the economy will be less and effective demand will be low, leading unemployment in the economy. How? And the demand says there is a I will say the example of the effective demand. Students who have sufficient income or wealthy parents can effectively demand university education. Students with no parental backing may not have the effective demand to study at university. Students who have sufficient income or wealthy parents can effectively demand university education. Students who know parental backing may have the may not have the effective demand to study at the university. Derived demand occurs when there is demand for a good service depending on the demand for intermediary. For example, demand for a peak is dependent on demand for the labor. With economic growth, there is a greater dividend derived demand for the transport for two reasons. Effective demand is determined by two factors, aggregate demand price and aggregate supply price. So what is aggregate demand price? In the Keynesian terminology, the aggregate demand function refers to the schedule maximum sale proceeds with the entrepreneurial community actual doesn't expect to be received from the sale of different quantities of the output resulting at various levels of employment. The quantum of the maximum sale revenue expected from the output produced is described as the demand price of a particular level of employment. There is a positive correlation between level of employment and demand price. The agreement demand function refers to schedule of maximum sale proceeds with the entrepreneurial community actually doesn't expect to be received from the sale of different quantities of output resulting at the various levels of employment. The aggregate demand price depends upon the total expenditure flow of the economy, which is determined by the spending decision of the community as a whole. In a free capitalist economy, household and the firms are to the two major economic sectors which spend for the consumption and investments. Now, what is these sectors are expected to spend in next period is viewed as a aggregated demand price. This can be more simply presented with the help of a schedule and diagram. Let us see the aggregate demand function schedule. Level of employment in lakhs of workers, n number. Level of employment n in lakhs of workers, 1 2 3 4 5 6 lakhs, and expected minimum sales proceeds, expected total expenditure, and in crores of rupees, 175 crores, 250 crores, 325 crores, 400 crores, 475 and 550. The aggregation demand function schedule like this, and let us see the volume of employment in lakhs. Volume of employment in lakhs and expected maximum receipts, that is anticipated total expenditure. Shows the volume of employment in lakhs and expected maximum receipts. Y 1 2 3 4 5 6 lakhs and Y is in crores. ADF is equal to F of N. ADF is equal to expected sales of received by entrepreneurs, and N equals to the volume of employment. F equals to the functional relationship. The ADF curve drawn in the diagram is linear but it can also be non-linear. Its shape and slope depend on the assumption and nature of the data relating to the aggregate demand schedule. Aggregate supply price. The supply price for a given quantity of commodity refers to the price at which seller is willing or included to supply that amount in the market. Hence, the supply schedule of the commodity shows the varying level of quantity of the commodity the seller offers for a sale at the alternative price. Aggregate supply price. The supply price for a given quantity for a commodity refers to the price at which the seller is willing or included induced to supply that amount of market. Hence, the supply schedule of the commodity shows the varying level of quantities of the commodity the seller offers for sale and alternative prices. Similarly, the aggregate supply schedules for the economy as a whole refers to the response of all entrepreneurs in supplying the whole output of the economy. Keynes was of the opinion that the level of output varies with the level of employment. Each level of employment necessitates certain quantities of the other factors of production like land, capital, raw materials, etc. to assist the labor of employed. The reward paid to the all factors of productions will be considered to be cost of production. Each level of employment will involve certain amount of money cost including normal amount of profit. Therefore, the entrepreneur must get some minimum amount of sale revenue to cover the total cost incurred a given level of employment. Only if the sale proceeds are high enough to cover the total cost of production at given level of employment and output, the entrepreneur will induce provide the particular level of employment. The minimum price of revenue proceeds the entrepreneur must get from sale output associated with different levels of employment is defined as aggregate supply price or aggregate supply function. So it is scheduled for a various minimum amount of revenue which must be expected to be received by the entrepreneur class from the sale of output resulting that various level of employment. Let us see the table. Aggregation supply function. Level of employment in lakhs, workers in crores of rupees. Money wages per annum in 1000 wages and aggregate supply price aggregate supply price ASF in 5N5W. So level of employment in lakhs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wages all is 10 per annum 1000. Aggregative supply price N 5W, that is 100, 200, 300, 500, 600. So schedule for various minimum amount of revenue which is the must be expected to be by the entrepreneur class from the sale of output resulting in various levels of employment. So this is all about macroeconomics analysis, theory of income and employment, classical and modern. Still, if you have any doubt, please comment below. We'll meet in the next class with another topic. Thank you so much.